Okay, let's unpack this. I want you to just stop for a moment and forget about, incremental change.
Right.
Forget trying to fix traffic in cities that are already choked or patching up these really outdated regulatory frameworks.
It's the losing battle half the time.
It is. So instead, just imagine you can start completely fresh, a blank slate.
Mm.
And you take, say, the most ambitious parts of Singaporean governance, that hyper-efficiency.
Okay, I'm with you.
Then you blend that with the culture of early Silicon Valley, that risk-tolerant, hyper-accelerated atmosphere.
Before it got too corporate.
Exactly. And then you combine that with this ancient, really profound sense of place and focus that you find in the Indian landscape.
So you're not just building a city.
Not at all. You're attempting to engineer, what would you call it? An economic and cultural singularity.
That phrase, an economic and cultural singularity, I think that perfectly captures the scale of what we're diving into today.
It's massive.
It is. We are dissecting the foundational manifesto for a place called Silicon Adda. And this is not, a simple municipal improvement project. It's not just another industrial park. It's this audacious, highly customized blueprint for a brand new special economic zone.
An SEZ.
An SEZ. But the source material explicitly calls it an SEZ on steroids.
I love that.
And it's designed with this surgical precision to attract, incubate, and then just accelerate the world's next generation of global tech unicorns.
And our mission for this deep dive is to really get into the sources you've shared with us, because they are fascinating. They present this incredible dichotomy.
They really do.
On the one hand, you have the hard policy, right? The ruthless economic blueprint, the incredibly selective entry criteria for founders from around the world.
The nuts and bolts.
Exactly. But then the document just pivots. It suddenly becomes almost cinematic. It paints this vivid, sensory, frankly, huge picture of what daily life, what the architecture, and even the food looks like inside this proposed hyper-optimized city.
It's a very unusual document in that way. It's part financial prospectus, part urban planning thesis, and then, like you said, part cultural narrative.
Right.
And the real goal here, you can tell it's far beyond just offering tax breaks.
Oh,
it's about trying to replicate that intangible, that magic that allows for exponential growth.
Can you even do that? Can you replicate magic?
Well, their belief is that if you design the environment perfectly, you can basically mandate a culture of audacity.
Wow.
We are talking about a location that's strategically placed near Sadhguru's ashram, fully wired with technology that frankly barely exists yet, 6G, where the entire directive is literally to be a startup city that's operating against a very precise 5-year deadline.
A city with a ticking clock. I mean, that element alone adds this incredible layer of high-stakes pressure to the whole experiment.
It does.
It's a bold gamble on the idea that innovation can be industrialized, that you can put it on an assembly line.
It is. And for you, the listener, I think understanding Silicon Adda is really about understanding a fundamental shift in how nations are starting to approach global competitiveness.
What do you mean by that?
This is a blueprint for leapfrogging the existing global tech hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
It's about literally building a better mousetrap one that's designed from the ground up for immediate explosive scale.
Okay, let's unpack this vision then. Let's start with the foundational architecture. So, starting right at the core concept. Silicon Adda is designed to be India's direct world-class alternative to, the existing tech hubs, built from the ground up.
Right.
So tell us about the name first, and then the intended scale of this zone.
The name itself, Silicon Adda, is instantly evocative. I mean, silicon is, of course, the universal signifier for the tech industry.
Sure, everyone gets that.
But Adda, that's a Hindi term, means a hub or a meeting place, a gathering spot. But it has this connotation of being relaxed, informal, vibrant discussion.
Like a coffee house or a town square.
Exactly. So it immediately signals that this isn't intended to be some sterile glass and steel business park. It's meant to be a dynamic, concentrated convergence point for ideas.
Okay, so the name sets the tone. What about the physical scale? Are we talking like Dubai-level ambition here or something more focused?
The proposal specifies a range, which suggests some flexibility, but it's all about high density. It says anywhere from a compact 10 square miles up to 100 square miles.
Can you put that in perspective for us?
Sure. The 10 square mile minimum, that's roughly the size of Manhattan's core business district, so very dense.
Okay.
But 100 square miles, that's approaching the size of the entire city of Bengaluru.
Wow, so it could be massive.
It could be. The size is flexible, but the design mandate is rigid. It has to blend world-class infrastructure. So Think sleek, modern, sustainable architecture with a lush green environment.
And the greenery isn't just for looks, I'm guessing.
No, it's explicitly stated. It's
Hmm.
intended to inspire creativity, to reduce ambient stress, and to promote focus among residents who are going to be under immense professional pressure.
Which, I have to say, immediately addresses a major pain point of existing tech hubs.
Like what?
Well, they often suffer from sprawl, right? Traffic, concrete fatigue. This sounds like the opposite.
It's designed to be, but the location detail is what really grabbed my attention.
The part about Sadhguru's ashram?
Exactly. It's strategically located near there.
Yeah.
And this pairing of, hyper acceleration and spiritual grounding, it seems contradictory on the surface.
It does. So what's the deep implication there? Why blend high-tech, high-speed ambition with that kind of spiritual, natural environment?
I think that blending is arguably the most radical and philosophical statement of the entire project. You hit the nail on the head. Traditional tech hubs, San Francisco, Bengaluru, even Shanghai, they often become synonymous with burnout.
Totally.
Mental health crises, the complete lack of a personal life because of the relentless grind. The founders of Silicon Adda, it seems, are attempting to learn from those failures.
So it's not just a nice view then, it's a functional part of the design.
Far from it. By locating the hub near a globally recognized center of spiritual focus, it's a commitment. It's symbolic, but it's also practical. They want to integrate wellness, mental clarity, and deep presence directly into this high-stress startup environment.
So there's an underlying belief that you can't just grind people down for 5 years.
Exactly. The belief is that peak innovation is not achieved through 100-hour weeks alone. It comes from sustainable, high-quality focus. So they're attempting to engineer balance alongside productivity.
That makes profound sense. A healthy mind is a faster mind, right?
It's the idea that creativity needs mental bandwidth, and that bandwidth requires holistic well-being, proximity to nature. It elevates the importance of health from just a personal choice to a necessary infrastructural utility.
Okay, so that's the philosophy. Let's get into the policy framework because, as you mentioned, this is the SEZ on steroids. How radical is the legal and regulatory departure from the existing system?
Well, the special economic zone structure is the legal foundation that grants all this flexibility. It basically allows the zone to operate as a sovereign urban experiment.
Right.
And the purpose of that structure is to achieve total bureaucratic disintermediation. They want to shed the layers of complexity, the procedural friction that typically slow down development, investment, and hiring in large established economies.
And the source material is, startlingly radical about the degree of this deregulation.
It is.
It states that only 3 fundamental rules apply within the zone. No theft, no violence, and basic respect for property. That's it.
That simplicity is the core of the political blueprint, and we have to pause and just analyze what this means in practice.
Yeah.
Because for a zone covering potentially 100 square miles and housing thousands of people, this is a revolutionary approach to governance. It means they are stripping away every single regulatory friction point that typically slows down innovation.
Okay, so can you tell us specifically what critical areas of regulation this simplification is designed to just eliminate?
First and foremost, labor laws. Traditional Indian labor laws can be incredibly complex.
Right, around hiring, firing, unionization.
All of it. By simplifying the rules to this extreme, they gain immense flexibility in structuring high-performance, results-driven teams.
Okay, that's a big one. What else?
Second, environmental regulations. Now, this might be controversial, but traditional environmental impact assessments, EIAs, and permits can take years.
Oh, easily.
So if you're building a greenfield city from scratch, they are streamlining this process, probably through a single, upfront, highly detailed environmental charter rather than, piece-by-piece approval for every building.
So you get it all done at once at the start.
That's the idea. And third, judicial and administrative processes. The 3 rules suggest a highly streamlined, likely internal dispute resolution system.
So not using the regular court system.
Probably not for commercial disputes. Maybe an independent panel of global legal experts. This would bypass the notoriously slow traditional court system.
So let's play this out. If a company wants to deploy a new robotic system or build a specialized biotech lab, they don't have to navigate 50 different layers of municipal, state, and central government permissions.
Correct.
They just need to respect property and not commit violence.
Precisely. The promise is instantaneous action. Every restriction that typically stifles innovation and speed would just cease to exist at the city borders.
What's the trade-off?
The trade-off is high accountability against those 3 core rules. The ultimate aim is just speed and creativity, unbound by administrative delay. It's about maximizing founder time spent on innovation, not on paperwork.
And to achieve that ultimate speed, the physical infrastructure has to be beyond cutting edge. It has to be, like you said, anticipatory.
And that's where the 6G commitment comes in. The city would be fully wired with 6G technology.
Okay, so 6G, for most people, that's just a number after 5G. Help our listeners understand the practical utility of that for the specific industries. Silicon Adda is targeting AI, robotics, quantum computing. What does 6G enable that 5G can't handle well enough?
That's a great question. 5G is fantastic for massive data throughput and connecting millions of devices, the Internet of Things.
Sure.
But for these future industries, the critical metric is latency, the delay between an action and a response.
Right, the lag.
Exactly. For advanced robotics, especially something like surgical robotics or fleets of autonomous vehicles, even a millisecond of delay is unacceptable. 6G promises near-zero latency, enabling these hyper-real-time feedback loops.
So we're talking about systems where the local network is effectively functioning as fast as the internal bus on a microchip.
That is a perfect analogy, yes. For things like distributed quantum computing ventures or massive real-time AI simulations that require instantaneous data transmission across vast server farms, 6G is a core utility.
So you're building a foundation that's already future-proofed for the 2030s.
You're eliminating the physical infrastructure bottleneck before it even has a chance to form. The only limit to a founder's vision should be the computational power they can deploy, not the speed of the network that connects their labs and their homes.
Which brings us to the money. Because a zero-friction 6G city built near a spiritual center, that requires an astronomical investment.
Absolutely.
And this blueprint treats the city itself as a startup, an urban experiment. So how is this multi-billion-dollar vision supposed to be funded? Who's footing the bill?
This is where we see another highly innovative mechanism. It's a financing model that ties the city's growth directly to the success of its residents.
How so?
Instead of relying purely on large central government grants, the blueprint proposes that the resident companies would fund the city's development through bonds.
Wait, hold on. The companies that are residents, the startups, they're expected to be major creditors of the municipality. That feels like an immediate, inherent conflict of interest.
That is the critical question we have to raise. You're absolutely right. If the companies are funding the city's infrastructure, the roads, the 6G network, the metro, by purchasing municipal bonds, they become stakeholders in a much, much deeper sense than just being tenants.
Right.
So it creates this inherent conflict, but perhaps is a conflict that is deliberately engineered.
What do you mean by that? Isn't the risk that the major bondholders could then exert undue influence on the governance of a city that, remember, only operates under 3 basic rules?
That is the risk, absolutely. But the proponents would argue it's a feature, not a bug.
How is that a feature?
Think about it. If a major tech conglomerate, let's say, invests billions into the city's bonds, they are now financially and, you could argue, ethically incentivized to ensure the city thrives.
Okay.
They want the infrastructure to remain pristine. They want the hyper-deregulated environment to be maintained because their investment depends on it. It ensures that the residents, the innovators, have a direct vested interest in maintaining the city's high-performance standard.
So it's different from a traditional city where taxes are often seen as just a liability with little direct return on investment.
Precisely. This is genius in a way because it converts the development cost from a liability for the government into a high-yield investment opportunity for the residents. It ensures their long-term engagement.
And who are they targeting for these bonds?
The target is globally ambitious. The blueprint specifically mentions potential bond buyers, like Gulf sovereign funds.
Okay, so they're looking for huge pools of international capital.
Exactly. These funds are often looking for stable, large-scale, visionary infrastructure projects outside their core geographical regions.
What's the implication of bringing in Gulf sovereign funds? What does that signal?
It creates a robust international financial backbone. First, it diversifies the risk away from a dependence on domestic financial markets.
That's smart.
Second, it elevates the entire project onto the global stage. It ensures high visibility, and it demands international standards of transparency and performance.
Right, because those funds will demand it.
They will. It signals that this isn't a small-scale domestic SEZ. It's a high-stakes global financial undertaking. It's leveraging international capital to fuel a domestic innovation engine. The funding structure itself confirms the magnitude of the global ambition right from the very beginning.
The blueprint is, it's highly defined on the financing and the infrastructure. So now let's pivot to the human capital side of things.
The people.
The people. The economic incentives designed to be this irresistible magnet for global talent. Because if you want the world's best, you have to offer something radically better than the existing hubs.
And this is where the financial magnetism truly takes hold. The core economic incentive is a comprehensive tax break that's just designed to supercharge capital accumulation for founders and their early employees.
So tell us about the specifics, this zero tax phase.
Startups operating within Silicon Adda are guaranteed a 5-year tax break.
For the company.
For everyone. Zero income tax for all team members during this critical incubation and growth period.
Okay, 5 years of zero income tax for high-earning, highly skilled talent.
Yeah.
That is a profound benefit. It's almost unprecedented on this scale globally.
It is.
And here's where it gets really interesting. We have to analyze this from the perspective of an ambitious software engineer. Maybe they're currently working in London or San Francisco or even Bengaluru. 5 years of zero income tax fundamentally changes the financial trajectory of their career. It instantly makes Silicon Adda competitive with traditionally low-tax jurisdictions like Dubai or Singapore.
It removes what is often the single biggest financial barrier to moving top-tier human capital, the tax burden.
It's a massive lure.
That is the precise calculation. By eliminating personal income tax, the city is effectively providing an instant, massive salary increase. For a founder operating on thin margins, maximizing the take-home pay for their early, crucial employees is absolutely essential for recruitment and retention.
And the tax structure promises stability even after that initial, honeymoon period.
Yeah.
What happens after the 5 years are up? Do they suddenly get hit with a massive bill?
No, the structure remains highly favorable. After the first 5 years, the zero tax holiday ends, but only a 5% local tax applies.
Only 5%?
Only 5% local, alongside the regular state and national levies. But that long-term stability and a low local tax rate signals a continued commitment to profitability. It assures companies that Silicon Adda isn't just a tax haven for the short term.
Right. It's a genuinely favorable long-term base for global operations once they hit scale.
Exactly.
But, of course, this immense generosity, a low-tax, 6G, deregulated sanctuary, it has to come with a major caveat.
Exclusivity.
Exclusivity. You can't just move here and start a coffee shop, right? Who actually gets to live and work in this hyper-optimized zone?
Residency is strictly and, you could say, ruthlessly exclusive. It's only for cutting-edge tech startups.
So what industries are they targeting?
The source specifies this is for ventures spanning the deepest and most scalable industries. Software, hardware, biotech, AI, robotics, and other emerging fields beyond that. This exclusivity is the quality control mechanism.
So it's essentially filtering for maximal economic impact and density of innovation.
That's a good way to put it.
It avoids the dilution that plagues traditional tech hubs where, high costs push out the early stage founders and even the essential service providers.
Right. You don't get in unless you are actively accelerating innovation in a globally competitive field.
And this exclusivity is critical to building this specific kind of culture they're trying to manufacture.
It is. Which brings us to the next point. The culture of relentless experimentation.
Okay, so the manifesto identifies the culture, that atmosphere of audacity, risk-taking, bold visionaries, as the #1 thing that makes Silicon Valley special.
Right.
But can you really manufacture culture? It feels like trying to industrialize serendipity.
That is the key debate inherent in this whole blueprint. The core belief here is that the entrepreneurial culture is not some magical organic phenomenon that only happens in specific places.
They think it's replicable.
They believe it is a direct function of density and proximity.
So if you put the smartest, most ambitious people in a hyper-optimized cage, they will be forced to collaborate and innovate faster.
In essence, yes.
Right.
A bit less of a cage, maybe, but that's the principle. Culture, according to this blueprint, is built by brilliant, globally diverse people congregating, collaborating, and taking risks together in a friction-free environment.
And the city's physical design is meant to catalyze this.
Exactly. The physical infrastructure, the co-working spaces, the research labs, the prototyping centers, they're all seamlessly integrated. They're physically designed to accelerate chance encounters and make collaboration effortless.
Give me an example.
Imagine a lab bench right next to a co-working space, which leads directly into a 6G-enabled collaboration room and is all separated by glass walls. You see what others are working on. You're constantly exposed to new ideas.
So the idea is that the moment of collision between, say, a Brazilian biotech founder and a Japanese software engineer is a result of urban planning, not just luck.
It's planned serendipity. They want every daily interaction at the specialized coffee shop, on the streamlined metro during a lunchtime workout to be a potential partnership meeting. It's all about speeding up the feedback loop from idea to prototype to market.
But this high-density, high-speed, zero-friction environment, it leads us directly to the most controversial and high-stakes element of the blueprint,
The unicorn clock.
the unicorn clock and the crucible of failure. This is where it gets really intense.
This is where the engineering of culture becomes ruthless. Startups entering Silicon Adda have exactly 5 years, and it coincides perfectly with the duration of the zero tax break to achieve unicorn status.
A billion-dollar valuation.
$1 billion valuation. It's a clear, time-bound mandate for explosive, exponential growth.
5 years to reach $1 billion is, that is an astronomical high-pressure metric. It turns the city into an intense crucible. It suggests there's zero tolerance for lifestyle businesses or, slow, steady growth.
Absolutely. The clock is a mechanism of self-selection and performance pressure. It mandates audacity. It forces founders to swing for the fences immediately. If you are not operating at maximum capacity with maximum ambition, the clock will run out on you.
And the moment that clock runs out, if you haven't hit that billion-dollar valuation, what happens? You're just kicked out.
The company and its team must relocate. The mandate is diffusion.
Diffusion.
Relocation to existing, larger, more established tech hubs like Bengaluru, Pune, or Hyderabad. The company leaves Silicon Adda, but it does not leave India.
Okay, this raises an important question that we have to address critically. Doesn't this high-stakes pressure and mandated relocation, often after failure, contradict the very culture of risk-taking they're trying to foster?
How so?
Well, doesn't the threat of ejection stifle experimentation? Doesn't it encourage short-term, unsustainable growth strategies just to hit a number rather than building something lasting?
That is the crucial tension at the heart of the model.
Yeah.
You're right. If a founder spends 5 years of their life in this pressure cooker and fails to hit the target, they are ejected.
Yeah.
However, the blueprint frames this not as a punishment, but as a strategic diffusion mechanism for the wider national economy.
Okay, explain the strategic value of this failure.
Yeah.
How is failure valuable here?
Failures carry immense value. The individuals who spent 5 years operating in this highly experimental, high-performance ecosystem have acquired advanced skills. They've built powerful global networks. They've learned best practices in hyperscaling.
And crucially, they've learned why their first attempt failed.
Exactly. So when they diffuse into the wider Indian economy, into those existing tech hubs, they take all of that knowledge, all of that experience, and that whole network with them.
So the learning isn't lost, it's strategically spread. It's like using Silicon Adda as a super accelerator that processes high potential talent through this high intensity program.
Right.
And then it releases the refined human capital, failed or not, into the broader market.
Exactly. It optimizes the utilization of failed talent. You invest 5 years in a high-density 6G environment working alongside the world's best. That experience makes you an incredibly valuable employee or founder of a new company or an advisor to companies outside the Adda.
So the wider Indian economy benefits directly from the intense government-backed experimentation that's carried out inside the zone.
It's calculated, managed failure that minimizes the cost to the state and maximizes the knowledge spillover.
But what about the human cost? What about the hundreds or thousands of non-founder employees? The software developers, the marketers, the operations staff who relocate their whole lives for this?
That's a very important point.
Does the city have an obligation to retain them, or are they also forced to diffuse with the failed company?
The blueprint's language focuses very heavily on the company and the primary entrepreneurs. While the city itself guarantees a 10-year visa to the founders, the implied reality is that if the company relocates, the entire team relocates.
So the city's primary loyalty is to the ecosystem's performance metric, the billion-dollar outcome, not necessarily to the individual residents.
It is a harsh calculus, but it's one designed to maintain the purity of the high-performance culture. The expectation is that the skills they acquired in the Adda will make them instantly employable and highly sought after in Bengaluru or Hyderabad.
So Silicon Adda acts as this high-volume, accelerated churn system that ensures only the fittest companies survive locally, while the highly trained, albeit failed, human capital strengthens the national talent pool.
It's an industrialized model of creative destruction.
Wow.
It is the ultimate expression of acceleration as policy.
Okay, so this entire model, this massive investment, this radical deregulation, it all hinges on attracting the absolute best talent. Not just the best talent India has to offer, but from everywhere.
Right. Silicon Adda has to be a truly global magnet.
So let's look at the criteria for entry. How do you get residency in this exclusive crucible? How do you get a ticket in?
The criteria are, I think, brilliantly simple. They're high bar, but crucially, they are nationality agnostic.
Oh, okay.
The metric is pure performance and potential. Any tech entrepreneur from anywhere in the world is eligible if they have raised at least $1 million for their startup.
$1 million in seed funding or venture capital as the sole monetary gatekeeper. That is a powerful filtration mechanism.
It is.
It means that the city isn't wasting time on, idea stage founders or those who are still bootstrapping with minimal external validation.
Exactly. The $1 million threshold is proof of execution. It's proof of a viable vision, and most importantly, it's proof of the ability to attract serious capital globally.
Right. Whether that capital comes from Silicon Valley VCs, European angel funds, or domestic Indian institutions.
It confirms that the founder has already successfully navigated that first major hurdle of fundraising. They're already vetted by the market.
And what does this global first philosophy talent over nationality? What does that say about India's ambitions here?
I think it's India's explicit, large-scale invitation to the world to come build the future on Indian soil.
That's a big statement.
It's a huge statement. It makes it clear. Geography no longer defines opportunity. Talent, ambition, and proof of execution are the only currencies that matter within the ADA.
So they're trying to create a global ecosystem from day one.
They are, and they're avoiding the insularity that can sometimes plague new, domestically focused tech initiatives. They're betting that the concentration of world-class, already funded talent will accelerate their outcomes exponentially.
Okay, so once you're accepted, the systems have to be designed to make operating globally feel effortless.
Absolutely.
This necessitates some pretty revolutionary financial and legal infrastructure. Tell us about the financial hub they plan to create for these global founders.
This is a critical piece of the financial stability puzzle. They propose the Silicon Adda Bank,
A dedicated bank.
a dedicated bank. Founders must transfer their initial capital and all their operational funds to this dedicated, fully international, and secure financial hub when they arrive.
Okay, my question is, why create a dedicated bank? Why not just leverage large existing international banks like an HSBC or a JP Morgan, which already have vast global networks?
That's a fair question. A dedicated in-house bank ensures a few key things. First, speed. It means compliance, international transfers, and investment protocols are immediately streamlined to match the velocity of the ADA.
So no waiting for legacy systems to catch up.
Exactly. Second, it centralizes control over the financial operations within the zone. This ensures stability and security that are specifically tailored to the unique regulatory freedoms of the SEZ.
So it becomes the financial guarantor of the ADA's environment.
It does. I mean, these global founders are moving into a deregulated zone. They need the highest level of confidence that their financial capital is safe, secure, and instantly accessible without bureaucratic hurdles. This bank provides that confidence.
And then there's the visa system, which has to be just as revolutionary to attract global talent away from established hubs.
It is arguably the biggest legal draw. Every single entrepreneur accepted into the program is granted a 10-year visa.
10 years.
A 10-year visa, tied directly to their active presence in the city.
A 10-year horizon is monumental in the startup world. I mean, in countries like the US, visas are often tied to specific employers or they're subject to these annual unpredictable renewals. It creates immense anxiety and distraction for founders.
Exactly, and that anxiety is a waste of energy. The 10-year visa provides certainty and stability for these high-impact ventures.
It's freedom to innovate.
It's freedom to innovate and scale without bureaucratic obstacles. Founders don't have to spend valuable time and mental bandwidth worrying about immigration policies, H-1B caps, or renewal dates. They know they have a decade to focus purely on building their billion-dollar company.
That stability is a highly valuable, often overlooked currency in the global competition for human capital.
It really is.
So you have a globally vetted, financially secure, legally stable, hyper-accelerated environment. The result is supposed to be this vibrant, dense melting pot of collaboration that is engineered to maximize cross-pollination.
Right.
So let's revisit the specific examples provided in the source to really understand the strategic thinking behind this proposed convergence.
Okay, yeah, the document gives some very specific pairings. It's not just random mixing. It's deliberate high-potential pairing across continents and core competencies.
So let's start with the first one. French AI specialists brainstorming with Indian robotics engineers. What is the synergistic potential they are banking on there?
Okay, so French technological expertise, especially in mathematical modeling, deep learning, and cognitive computing, is absolutely world-class.
They're very strong in the theoretical and software side of AI.
Extremely strong. So when you pair those cutting-edge AI algorithms, the brains, with India's robust, scalable engineering and hardware capabilities, the body, you get a full-stack solution for robotics.
AI needs a physical form to interact with the world. Robotics needs intelligence to move beyond just rote automation.
You've got it. This pairing aims to accelerate the creation of next-generation autonomous systems, built quickly, cost-effectively, and with massive computational power. It's a perfect match.
Okay, next, a unique pairing. Brazilian biotech founders collaborating with the Japanese software innovators. This seems like a less obvious connection to me.
It does on the surface. But think about what Brazilian biotech often focuses on. Two key areas. One is the country's unique national biodiversity, so pharmaceutical discovery, agricultural innovation. And the other is large-scale industrial biotechnology, like ethanol and biofuels. Both of these areas generate vast, complex data sets, genomic data, field trial results, processing metrics. It's a huge amount of information.
And that's where the Japanese software expertise comes in.
Exactly. Japanese software is renowned for precision, miniaturization, and deep data systems architecture. So you can apply that expertise to process, model, and analyze this massive biological data.
So it's marrying deep biological knowledge with digital precision.
Right, it could accelerate drug discovery or create optimized precision agriculture models. It's all about transforming raw biological data into commercial solutions faster than ever before.
Okay, and the final example, which is perhaps the most future-focused in terms of global impact. African fintech startups joining forces with European clean energy entrepreneurs.
This is a perfect nexus of necessity and solution. African fintech is, in many ways, globally leading. Mobile money, decentralized finance, rapid adoption of digital payment systems across diverse geographies.
They solve real-world problems around financial inclusion and distribution better than almost anyone.
They do. European clean energy entrepreneurs, meanwhile, have these advanced sustainability solutions, solar, wind, battery storage, but they often struggle with last-mile distribution and monetization in emerging markets.
Ah, I see the convergence now. The African fintech platforms provide the perfect existing distribution and payment infrastructure, the commercial engine for European clean energy technologies.
You've nailed it. Instead of the European company having to build their entire sales and payment infrastructure from scratch in a new market, they just plug into the existing, highly effective African fintech rails.
And what's the benefit for the fintech company?
The fintech company gets a new, massive service offering to provide to its users, and the clean energy company gets instant, secure market access.
Every single one of these observed interactions is a deliberate opportunity for cross-pollination. Every shared meal, every street corner, is essentially a potential launchpad designed into the city's DNA.
That's the vision. The global talent pool is now geographically concentrated, legally stabilized, and financially incentivized.
Right.
It transforms Silicon Adda from just a location into a powerful functional ecosystem where collaboration is engineered to transcend borders and achieve exponential returns.
What's truly remarkable about this blueprint, I think, is that the intentionality doesn't stop at the policy and the P&L. It designs the entire lifestyle.
It really does.
Down to the air you breathe and the sounds you hear. The obsession here is eliminating friction. Not just regulatory friction, but physical friction in daily life.
Designing for ultimate efficiency is the cornerstone of the whole urban plan. The planners clearly understood that commuting, congestion, and poor air quality, they kill creativity.
They steal time and increase stress.
All of which is completely counterproductive to hitting that 5-year unicorn clock.
Which leads to the radical no-car rule. The infrastructure is designed to eliminate the need for private cars. How is that even achievable for a zone that could be up to 100 square miles?
It requires transit systems that are absolutely perfect. There's no room for error.
So what do they promise?
They promise an international airport, which is non-negotiable for a global magnet like this, and what they boldly call the world's best metro system.
The world's best. That's a high bar.
It is. It means the metro has to be fast, reliable, silent, and entirely pervasive. It has to reach every hub of living and working within minutes.
And what about last-mile transit?
That would mean relying heavily on electric vehicles for last-mile delivery and shared taxi services, all of it probably managed by AI systems to optimize flow and prevent any kind of congestion.
But practically, how does that impact logistics and supply chains? Especially for the hardware and robotics companies that are housed there. They need to move physical goods.
That's where the high-performance SEZ status is so critical. Heavy-duty logistics, shipping containers, raw material deliveries, they would be tightly managed to occur only during off-peak hours.
So overnight, basically.
Probably, and likely using dedicated, maybe underground or peripheral transport corridors that completely bypass the core residential and commercial areas. The emphasis in the core city is on human movement, not cargo.
And the urban design itself reflects this focus on acceleration and flow, while still maintaining that sense of engineered balance you mentioned earlier.
The city's physical layout is geared towards seamless growth. Work, research, and production are not siloed off from each other.
You don't have an industrial park over here and a residential zone over there.
No. You see seamlessly integrated co-working hubs, research labs, and prototyping centers, all designed for easy pedestrian or bicycle access. The entire city is intended to feel like one interconnected, intelligent campus.
So let's paint that sensory picture that the source provides. How is the atmosphere actually curated? What does it feel like to walk through it?
It's a deliberate juxtaposition. The source describes neon signs reflecting off sleek, futuristic glass towers, so you get that high-tech sheen.
A bit of a Blade Runner vibe.
A little, but a much cleaner version. Because this is then softened by canals lined with flowering plants and vertical gardens climbing up elevated walkways. So the environment is always engaging, never purely functional.
And the sounds.
The city hums with technology, the silent glide of electric vehicles, the speed of 6G data transfer. But that high-tech efficiency is mixed with intentional cultural elements. The source mentions street musicians playing soft jazz and classical Indian ragas.
That blending of global music and modern architecture, it creates a very distinct feeling, an atmosphere of high culture meeting high tech.
It's designed to stimulate yet simultaneously calm the residents. It's control through sensory appeal.
And the planners recognize that these high-pressure environments lead to burnout.
Which kills the 5-year unicorn goal.
Right, so the wellness ecosystem is treated as a foundational, non-negotiable utility, not a luxury add-on.
Absolutely not. It's core infrastructure.
So tell us about the specific wellness infrastructure that's built into the city. The yoga centers, for example, sound particularly serene.
They're designed as sensory retreats. The description mentions bamboo floors, natural materials, and serene water features.
And the offerings are very specific.
Yes, very specific and strategic, tailored to the high-intensity resident. They offer sessions of Ashtanga, Hatha, and Kundalini yoga precisely at dawn.
Why those three specific styles? What's the thinking there?
Well, Ashtanga is dynamic and intense. It focuses on discipline and heat generation, perfect for channeling high ambition into physical rigor.
Okay.
Hatha is foundational and meditative, which helps residents ground their energy. And Kundalini focuses heavily on breathwork and spiritual energy, the chakras, which is an excellent tool for managing high stress and achieving deep focus before a demanding workday.
So offering all three caters to different needs for grounding, energy, and discipline.
Precisely.
And for those inevitable pressure spikes that come with running a billion-dollar startup on a 5-year clock, the city provides quiet reflection.
Yes. The meditation spaces are seamlessly integrated into the urban design. They're described as gardens hidden between buildings, sanctuaries that hum with quiet chants and the soft rustle of leaves.
So they're acoustic buffers against the high-frequency chaos of the innovation zone.
A necessary, intentional antidote to the relentless intensity of the unicorn clock.
And for those who need a more kinetic, a more physical release from stress,
the fitness infrastructure is omnipresent. It reflects a commitment to high-performance bodies as well as minds. The source mentions jogging along tree-lined boulevards, state-of-the-art gyms, cross-training arenas for functional fitness.
And even dedicated rock-climbing walls.
Right. It ensures that physical activity and peak mental performance are mutually reinforced. It's a true mind-body infrastructure designed for maximum output.
What's fascinating here is it's the effort to integrate physical and mental health facilities seamlessly into the urban fabric.
Yes.
Treating wellness as a core utility, not a luxury.
It reflects the philosophy that in a hyper-competitive, speed-focused environment, time spent on self-care is not a loss of productivity. It is an investment in sustainable productivity.
So the city ensures every sense is celebrated.
Reminding residents that the art of living can be as creative and transformative as the technology it births.
It's the ultimate expression of the work hard, live well, but only to accelerate output philosophy. Now let's transition to the most vivid and tangible expression of that global melting pot policy, the culinary scene. If the infrastructure is a city's nervous system, then the food. The food is the blood of Silicon Adda. It's the most potent expression of its global inclusivity policy.
I agree with that.
The descriptions in the sources are not just menus, they are almost cinematic. They tell a story of cultural convergence at every single meal.
They do.
So let's spend some real time savoring this. Let's connect the sheer, mind-boggling diversity of these dishes to the city's identity as a global magnet.
Agreed. Because the sheer density and variety of the cuisine is a practical statement. It's saying that every founder, regardless of their origin, will find comfort, familiarity, and constant stimulation on their plate. #1. The Morning Symphony, Masala Mandir.
So we begin the day at a place the source calls Masala Mandir, the Temple of Spice.
Great name.
It describes the air as being dense with the aroma of spices, sizzling pans, mustard seeds, and fresh curry leaves. This is where India wakes up, regionally diverse, and sets the tone for a high-energy day.
And we travel instantly to the south with the buttery Kerala appams served with a creamy coconut stew.
Describe an appam for someone who's never had one.
It's a delicate, bowl-shaped fermented pancake. It's made with rice batter, so it's light and crisp at the edges, but soft and spongy in the center. It's a perfect balance of lightness and richness, really typical of the tropical coastal cuisine of Kerala.
Okay, that sounds amazing. Now, moving inland and north, we find the substantial, savory contrast.
The crisp Rajasthani kachoris stuffed with spiced lentils. These are hearty, fried pastries from the desert state, and they're packed with these intense, dry spice blends. It's fueling up for high-intensity work with a traditional, robust snack.
And for a touch of sweetness, representing the east.
The soft sweetness of Kolkata Mishti Doi. It's a thick, sweet, fermented yogurt, and it offers that delicate Bengali flavor profile. It's often enjoyed as a refreshing snack or a dessert, providing a very delicate kind of energy.
And from the northern plains, you have to have the powerful Punjabi presence.
Of course. Fresh Punjabi tandoori rotis or kulchas, pulled, crackling hot, right from the clay tandoor.
And what are they paired with?
Paired with the rich, dense, spiced chickpea curry, kol. This is robust, satisfying, high-calorie fuel. It's a comfort food for any demanding coding session.
And further west, reflecting efficiency, we find something lighter.
The Maharashtrian poha. This is a staple breakfast of flattened rice. It's spiced lightly with green chilies, golden turmeric, and fresh curry leaves. It's light, easily digestible, and provides quick, clean energy, which perfectly matches the speed required by the city's performance metrics. Back towards the east, we had the Bengali luchi with aludum. Right. Luchi are these puffed, deep-fried flatbreads. They're softer and richer than the tandoori bread, and they're served with a richly spiced, soupy potato curry. It's a slightly more indulgent, almost ceremonial start to the day.
And finally, rounding off this regional Indian breakfast, something from Goa.
The crisp sweetness of Goan bibinka. This is layered coconut cake, a traditional Goan dessert that reflects centuries of Portuguese influence.
Wow.
It's a rich, delicate finish that kind of foreshadows the complex global fusion the entire city represents.
So the morning meal itself is an immediate immersion into the diversity of India. It ensures that the local founders feel this deep connection even as they're operating in a hyper-global environment. #2. Mid-morning global convergence, global grub.
And as the morning shifts, the city transforms. The international bazaar emerges. The source calls it global grub, where different cultures collide in the kitchen.
And this is offering sophisticated options for collaboration and meetings.
Exactly.
Let's look at Japan first. We have delicate nigiri and sashimi, razor-thin cuts of fish, and intricate maki rolls.
This requires precision, artistry, and focus, the very qualities that are valued in the tech environment itself. The aesthetic is clean, minimalist, and deeply flavorful. It's perfect for a light, high-focus lunch.
Then we swing all the way to France, which demands absolute technical skill.
Flaky croissants and buttery Danish pastries and the comforting richness of pain au chocolat all pull golden and glistening from the oven.
And for a heavier meeting,
The expertly prepared flambéed coq au vin filling the air with that wine-scented smoke. This suggests the inclusion of high-end, technically demanding culinary arts is not just fast food.
And Italy introduces comfort and complexity.
Creamy risottos, often saffron-infused. This requires patient stirring and perfect temperature control, which kind of mirrors the patience required in complex coding projects.
That's a great comparison.
And alongside that, you have wood-fired pizzas with bubbling mozzarella and plates of fresh, cured meats and cheeses in Italian antipasti. Perfect for shared, relaxed networking sessions where ideas can flow as easily as the wine.
Then Thailand brings that intense, fragrant balance of sweet, sour, and heat.
The pad thai noodles, tossed over high heat, the intoxicating scent of lemongrass and kaffir lime, leaves wafting from a rich green curry with coconut milk. This represents the vibrant, complex, and immediate flavor profiles of Southeast Asia.
And from China, we have the steaming basket of Shanghai-style bao buns.
Those soft, puffy buns filled with savory pork, mushrooms, and ginger, they offer a comforting yet complex, immediate sensory experience. A perfect, efficient fuel source. Lunchtime moves to the bustling, high-energy street. This is the perfect democratic space, mixing these fierce regional Indian specialties with global street food.
Okay, let's start with the fiery Indian regional specialties. The source mentions Rajasthani lal mas.
Fiercely aromatic and deep red, rich with Kashmiri chilies served in copper bowls. It's bold and demanding, mirroring the city's ambition.
A complete regional contrast to that would be the tender Hyderabadi biryani.
Layered rice and meat, intensely fragrant with saffron and whole spices. It's a complete ceremonial meal, representative of a royal rich cuisine, perfect for a power lunch.
The Northeast contributes Assamese pithas.
These are sweet, steamed treats, delicately flavored with coconut and jaggery. They provide a soft, sweet, light contrast to the intensity of the Rajasthani or Hyderabadi dishes.
Back to the coast for Goa and Vindaloo.
Known for its sharp vinegary tang and spice, it's a reflection of the maritime influence and history of the region, a flavor profile unlike any other in India.
And the staple of the East, Bengali fish curry.
Or machar jol. It's light, soupy, flavored with mustard oil and turmeric. A very soothing, delicate option.
The West contributes the soft and spongy Gujarati dokla.
Steamed and light, topped with mustard seeds and curry leaves. It's easy to eat, quick energy that doesn't weigh you down.
And we delve into the heartland with the fiery Chhattisgarhi muthia and the rustic Bihari litti chokha.
That's a hearty dish. Baked wheat balls with a spiced sattu filling, served with a roasted eggplant mash. These are foundational, comforting foods, grounding the hyper-modern environment in deep tradition.
And finally, the North's contribution to this street parade, Kashmiri Rogan Josh.
Deep red, rich with yogurt and aromatic spices. A classic slow-cooked dish, perfect for a longer lunch.
Okay, so now, overlaying this incredible regional Indian diversity, we have the global street food scene that ensures no one feels like an outsider.
Right.
Mexican tacos al pastor.
Smoky adobo flavors filling the air from pork roasted on a vertical spit. It's fast, punchy, immediate flavor.
And we have Ethiopian injera.
The large, spongy flatbread that invites tearing by hand. It's a communal food, naturally encouraging collaboration and interaction around the plate.
Moroccan tagine simmers.
Rich with saffron, preserved lemon, and often lamb. These are deep, complex, slow-cooked flavors that contrast with the speed of the street. It forces a moment of reflection.
Brazilian feijoada.
A rich black bean and pork stew. It's a hearty, celebratory dish, signifying the global welcome.
And Japanese ramen. Steaming bowls layered with tender pork, mushrooms, and soft-boiled eggs.
The ultimate savory, rich, customizable comfort food that is now a global obsession. It ensures the younger mobile tech workforce feels instantly at home. #4 afternoon delight and evening global dining. The afternoon then shifts to indulgence and global sweetness. This is fuel for the late afternoon slump, or for a celebration after a milestone.
The European patisserie is fully represented. French macarons in pastel colors demanding technical mastery.
Turkish baklava, glistening with syrup, layers of phyllo and nuts intense satisfying sweetness. And Italian gelato, slow-churned and delicate, melting slowly.
Then the Middle Eastern contributions.
Go ahead.
Egyptian basbousa.
A semolina cake, often soaked in syrup, and Lebanese mamoul, delicate shortbread pastries filled with dates or nuts. These represent ancient culinary arts applied to simple perfection.
And the crowning jewel of the afternoon snack, the intentional chaos of the Indian chat corners.
Oh yes, pani puri, which are these little shells bursting with spiced water, dahi puri with yogurt and chutneys, and bel puri with puffed rice.
A perfect dance of sweet, sour, spicy, and crunchy.
It's an immediate high sensory experience that just breaks the intensity of the workday.
As evening falls, the dining becomes a sophisticated, collaborative affair in rooftop cafes and food trucks, often leaning into fusion.
We see the Mediterranean influence with Spanish tapas, small plates that encourage sampling and sharing.
Alongside Korean bibimbap.
A customizable bowl of rice, vegetables, meat, and egg. It symbolizes the mixing of many elements into one harmonious aesthetic whole.
And the global comfort food that bridges all cultural gaps. American classics.
Like burgers, hot dogs, and smoky BBQ ribs, they offer that familiar, robust taste of international ubiquity. Plus, the spicy complexity of Cajun-style jambalaya.
And the final touch is the craft coffee shops.
Featuring single origin beans from Ethiopia, Colombia, and India alike. So even the caffeine intake is a curated global journey, ensuring the creative energy lasts through the late working hours.
So we have to ask again, what does this level of sensory investment truly signify? The fact that a founder can have Rajasthani lal mas and Japanese miso soup?
Or, as the source describes it, a spoonful of rich, red Kashmiri Rogan Josh, followed immediately by the delicate tang of a Thai green curry in the same meal.
That is central to the city's manufactured identity.
This city is designed for constant sensory stimulation and comfort in the best way. The culinary variety is a direct, practical mirror of the global inclusivity policy.
It's a clear statement that every culture, every flavor, every tradition is welcomed and celebrated.
And that it's all there to fuel the innovative spirit by minimizing cultural friction. Every bite is a story, a culture, a memory transported.
So founders from every part of the world instantly feel both at home, because their familiar cuisine is available,
And constantly stimulated by new experiences, because the cuisine is so densely concentrated. The food confirms that the city is truly borderless, designed to serve the global elite who are building the future. #####6. Conclusion.
So, Silicon Adda is far more than just a policy or a blueprint. It's a cinematic, living vision.
It is.
It's a global experiment designed to engineer a culture of audacious risk-taking and collaborative excellence. We've analyzed the zero-tax phase, the 6G wiring, the high-stakes unicorn clock, the integration of wellness infrastructure, and the astonishing depth of the culinary offerings.
It's a total systems approach to
It
innovation.
really is.
It is the ultimate expression of deliberate design.
Yeah.
Every variable, from the financial backing by Gulf funds to the speed of the local tax court, has been meticulously calculated to maximize high-speed innovation and global attraction. It's a closed-loop system designed for peak output.
The city is a high-stakes, high-reward environment where borders vanish, talent is the only currency, and innovation is the only law. But let's just step back for a moment and look at the macro implications of this highly managed, time-bound system.
Okay.
The fact that the entire urban experiment is operating against a 5-year deadline for success, that's the most radical element to me.
If we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
the idea that a city can be a managed, time-bound ecosystem for intense idea generation reflects a completely new, accelerated approach to national economic development.
What do you mean by that?
It's not about nurturing everything. It's about hyper-accelerating the very best and then strategically diffusing the rest. This intentional, industrialized model of creative destruction. It's designed to ensure India can rapidly leapfrog established competitors in the global technology race by creating an environment optimized purely for scale.
And finally, let's return to the philosophical hook the source material itself provides. This idea that the age of abundance was prophesied in the scriptures thousands of years ago. If Silicon Adda succeeds in producing breakthrough innovation through this relentless pressure and sensory fulfillment, if it turns napkin sketches into billion-dollar unicorns in exactly 5 years, what does that say about that ancient idea of abundance?
I think it raises a powerful, provocative question for you, the listener, to mull over. If Silicon Adda successfully engineers an environment of unprecedented wealth generation and global convergence purely through deliberate, hyper-precise design,
If they can essentially mandate the conditions for explosive success.
does the city prove that abundance is not a prophecy waiting to happen or a state to be prayed for, but a state that can be engineered into existence through the precise construction of policy, culture, and sensory experience?
They're not waiting for the future, they are building it.
One carefully selected founder and one meticulously spiced plate at a time.